Hi, welcome back to Tao of Twang. I'm Dave. So right now, Tao of Twang is a place where you can get guitar information, along with updates about the host's medical and dental issues or whatever. The reason I bring it up is that last week I shared some stuff in the video about this oral surgery situation. And man, thank you so. Besides, there were several people in the comments that left supportive comments and compassionate. I got so many private messages, also through Patreon and emails and stuff from people about this. Just support. That means so much to me. It really does. And I know there's people out there, that are hurting. Maybe right now when you're watching this, or somebody that you love is having a medical, serious, something way more serious than this. I respect that. Um, and I've been blessed with pretty good health. And in my world, this was an ordeal, and just real quick, this week's installment is things were healing up really well with the oral surgery, but I kept having this terrible pain and swelling, so I went back to the surgeon, and turns out I have this salivary gland that's all jacked up and infected, and I was like, really? He's like, yeah, that's kind of bad luck. I was like, okay. So back on antibiotics and all this stuff. And it's all good. Let's get all this done with early this year. Those of you that just signed up recently, we're not going to be doing this all the time. Right? I wanted to mention it because thank you so much. Man, I'll tell you, you just don't know how much that means to me to log on here and just or have that notification pop up and click it and have so many people just so selflessly supporting me like that. Maybe I'm not used to it or something, but it's really really cool. Thank you very much. So let's get into this Mixolydian thing now. I have used this backing track before a long time ago on YouTube, and I like it. It's funky. It's C Mixolydian, so the chords are C, B flat, F. Let's just listen for a second, and then I'll show you. You can play whatever you want along with this, rhythm-wise. It's a good one to use for that too. And see how I'm really emphasizing that B2 1 and right on that snare. You can just do whatever you want in there. Those are just a couple of ideas. So get in there, get loose, get warmed up on that. Pretty much everything today, and it's a lot of it's conceptual, but we're going to use this position right here to really demonstrate it. So it will be. I've got a picture of it here. It's not on my video yet because that's being made in real time. But let me pull it up here so I can kind of refer to it in the exact way in which you will be seeing it. In fifth position for C Mixolydian, we would have C. Let's do it going down. I kind of like to do that because it gets to that flat 7 faster, which is the essential thing about it, right? So it's C, B flat, A, G, F, E, D, C. Okay, and you might recognize that shape because in other ways of referencing it, it would be, any other number of things. One thing that's nice about these scale calculator things that I got this, screenshot off of is it's kind of cool because if you use these, so sometimes they look overwhelming at first, like, oh, there's so much, it's the whole neck, and it's just like, But see what it's like when you section out parts of it like that, and maybe you can do that in the settings of it somehow, and I'm just not taking the time to really set it up in that manner. But then, so this is C Mixolydian, right? If you went to the same image maker and put in F major, and you sectioned out the 4th through the 8th fret, right, the 5th through the 8th fret, that 5th position, it would look exactly like this, except the F's would be orange. And that's a really nice way of graphically demonstrating how interrelated and overlapping and how the notes are shared in different contexts, right? So that's nothing, not revealing anything really mysterious there. But right, if you think about that, you take that on, in whatever direction you want. You say, well, okay, what if, what would make, the A be the one that's lit up or something, right? So then you see how all of those modes are kind of, made of the same stuff, right? In this case, I specifically put in C Mixolydian because I want that to be the kind of tonal center of the thing, right? It's that it centers around that C sound, C7. The 7's kind of important there. You could use a regular C triad also, but the C7 is certainly gonna bring out that Mixolydian flavor. So let's get right into some jam here. Now, along with the C Mixolydian notes sequence, we could also use a lot of different kinds of pentatonic approaches to this, but let's stick mainly to the kind of major pentatonic shape that's overlapping right with this 5th position of the Mixolydian. Well, there, I slipped out of the position, didn't I? But right, you see what I mean. You're going to be doing all your stuff, right? I'm just showing you right here, just so we can have one neighborhood here where we've got our triads kind of flagged and marked where they are, and we can really, kind of hang out right here and get a lot out of it. And so that's the third prong of this. So we've got C Mixolydian, C major pentatonic, and then we're going to want to identify triads. Not even necessarily the 7th versions of these chords, but the triads for the all 3 chords, the C, the B flat, and the F, okay? So let's do a little bit of playing just to get our ears going, and you can play along. You don't have to play the same thing as me when we're doing this stuff. Just get in there and explore, the same way that I'm demonstrating. And then we'll start putting it under the scope a little bit. Here we go. Hope I didn't get too carried away. I tried to keep it, my phrasing kind of, each phrase had a beginning, middle, and end. Each was its own thing. It wasn't a lot of run together stuff there, right? There's a lick in there that just, and it lets this kind of backing track, this kind of tune, really play its part, right? You're staying out of the way of some of that other funky stuff in that backing track, and that sounds nice. So I really had to hold myself back to not get up into other positions there or whatever, and do your own thing. Don't kind of the exercise here, the part that we're demonstrating is just one of many, positions where you could apply the same thinking and method. And then, of course, you would start sort of weaving them together, right? And that's always the end game. But let's look at this. Now, a lot of what I did, especially the first few licks there, were major pentatonic. I just kind of come in with approach notes. You go. I'm really just using that. So there's some kind of, bouncing double. Right? So you don't need a lot of fancy stuff usually with this major pentatonic business. What kind of makes it, a little more stylized a lot of times is just direction changes and small skips in the. There's a little more country kind of sound. But still, all right out of that major pentatonic framework. Now, as I went into that demo a little bit more, there was more, of that 7-note scale sound, right? But to me, the when I really kind of analyzed that, the good juicy stuff was still the pentatonic stuff, right? So that was still kind of it was kind of stepping out to do the triad stuff more, not the other way around. If I was just doing the triad stuff all the time, and I don't think that would translate as musically as like, playing more of that. See what I mean about that? And so that C, I'm featuring a lot of the pentatonic and the bending and stuff, right? And then one of the things we can do right away is let's map out them. We'll get to the C in a second. But for now, let's say that our triad is really that form. And when I bend that from that 7 to that. Okay. Might not be as used to that as going up and kind of playing this. Right. So, spend some time working that stuff out, because you want to be able to really use that because you're already there. That makes sense, right? right? So you got that shape, then that B flat, I'm clearly going to this kind of E shape of the B flat, right? And then, even if you go straight up, I'm coming down to an F that's made out of this shape, the C shape of the F. Very often using that fourth in addition to the triad. Sometimes sliding into the third, the major third of the F. Now, see there, I messed around and I kind of got myself back into the gravitational field of F major, right? I kind of started saying like sounding like the F was the one chord or something. So let your ear explore all of that stuff, right? When we put this back in the Mixolydian context, where C, Mixolydian, is kind of the central sound, that's where not just the order of the chords, but like the way that your ear is addressing this progression, you get more into that. Right, that sound familiar? That's the kind of the quick and dirty formula of a lot of Southern rock, country rock stuff. If I know people kind of don't like that country rock term or something. I don't know. I guess we need another, but kind of tried to label it different things over the years. But right, it's that blending of that major pentatonic sound with some more of the 7-note melodic stuff. Now here's a little bit more demonstration of it. When you put this track on, it kind of pulls you back into this more, goose-like, feel, right? It doesn't feel like the country rock thing, but it's interesting because you can really use these techniques. There, almost hit the space bar, which would have stopped the whole thing. I meant to just mute the backing track. So there I tried, I got a little bit more experimental there at the end, right? I even, kind of tried to really put more of the triad notes in there and kind of make it more of that jammy sound. And you can do that and that'll work out. Some of it kind of worked out there and some of it sounded like it was forced, right? I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to record something else that I think is better, right? That's just what happened in that moment, right? But so sometimes it's important to kind of monitor like what we're doing. Like if we're pushing a concept too far and we're trying to cram stuff in and it's not back off, right? Go back to the sweet stuff, the slow bending, the putting more space between the phrases and stuff, right? Use this stuff, but don't try to kind of do it all at once, all the time, every time around when you're playing through the song, right? So if you catch yourself feeling out of control, it's real. You're out of control. It's not just a judgment that you're having. It's like just back off, kind of get realigned with what's going on, simplify your game for until it's attenuated, to a level where you can really keep it the continuity of it going and play several times around. Then the other stuff will start to the more elaborate stuff will evolve from that, right? You can't go right to the all the wild stuff, right? I really hope you enjoy this. Leave me some comments. Let me know how it's going. And I look forward to getting past some of these personal struggles and just continuing to have fun with you all. And I just really, really appreciate the support. See you next week.